fellow divine feminines. Whether you're coming into a twin flame journey or just looking for relationship advice, whatever reason you're here, I appreciate you. So it's funny because oftentimes I'll go on and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to put my time in that. And I'll have a thing in mind. And then it'll be like, I'll go do it and go, nope, there's this other one I want to do first. So this is the one that I arrived at. I'm going to do this one first. And if you, I'm not going to keep repeating this in too many more forward of my videos, but the first few at least. If you identify as feminine in any way, shape, or form, and you are attracted to, in love with, etc., with a man who identifies as masculine, and typically, for my advice, also has male parts and stuff, then this could be advice that you might find helpful. What know from the get go, like I'm certified in all sorts of life coaching stuff and spirituality and things like that. I'm not like a professional counselor or anything like that. I have spent plenty of years in both couples therapy and solo therapy and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff I've even had the beautiful opportunity to like test out and thinking about like what would a mental health professional think about these ideas, right? Pretty sound. It's just that most people don't think about them. Anyways, so my advice on this one is ladies, like you really need to believe in your man, okay? You need, and part of this is you need to believe in yourself. If you tell yourself a story that you're not good at picking partners or you've had a string of not so successful relationships as far as you've seen it, and you get in with your man and you're worried about them hurting you or deceiving you or being a repeat of the past, you're calling that in. So whether or not he would have, you're calling it in. The other thing is, in this day and age, you can bet your ass. You can bet your sweet ass that he is hearing enough criticism from everyone else in his life, at work, from customers, from bosses, from coworkers, within his family, from his friends. He has enough people in his life. I can guarantee it is enough people in his life that are there telling him how he ain't doing it right, how he could be doing better, how he should be making more, how he could do more work, how he could do it easier or better. Don't be one of those people. You know, you as his feminine should be his sanctuary, his safe place. Like, yeah, you're gonna have times where you'll be like, all right, Mister. Like, I need you to little more attention to assistance around the house, please. But there's the example too, though. You can communicate feedback to him in a way different way than anyone else ever has. You can be kind about it. You can find out what his language is, his love language is. You could do that. You could also be sure to, one of my favorite things is learning about all the love languages and the Enneagram types and the astrology because it helps me understand myself better and understand other people better. Because no matter how similar you and your man might be, you're going to have differences too. And one of the biggest challenges that typically topples over otherwise good relationships is communication, poor communication. And oftentimes, unfortunately, a lot of would be good couples find themselves in messy situations or breakups simply because they never got the opportunity to learn in their life up to that point that everybody processes differently and thinks differently and does things differently. Yeah, we share some similar commonalities, though everybody kind of does it in their own different way. And so, it's kind of like we women, we process typically by talking, to each other, to our partners, things like that in some form. But men, although they do talk, trust me, men are total gossips, but although they do talk to other people, it's typically after that, in the moments of silence, or before that, in the moments of silence, that's when they find themselves. Whereas we typically find ourselves in the communication and the emotions, right? And it could also be different things. Like you might find yourself more through going into seclusion and meditation and doing things like that. He might find himself by going out and getting in an incredible mess based on an ego trap. you know, you don't know. You might do better pulling away from the crowd. He might do better in the crowd. But when you can figure out what unique, delicious, adorable ways that you each process and communicate, then you can find ways to go from being one of those, why don't you ever take out the garbage kind of people, or you never help me around the house kind of people, or you shouldn't be hanging out with those kind of people, and be one of those, you know what, would you like to go out with me to this weird new adventure and see if we can make some new friends to add to those we have with us already? Or, you know, I find it so attractive when I come in and I see you picking up that garbage bag with your muscles and that grin on your face because you know I love it. I hope that you're not forgetting how much that I love it when you do that. I really miss it. You know? You see how the difference is? You see the difference in attractiveness when you treat a man that way, when you treat anybody that way. This advice, really, you could use it with anyone. It's just when we're talking about a woman and a man, usually there's a little more rapport and intimacy in there, a little more liberalness with various things you could say that you wouldn't, say to your mom or your dad or your kids, right? Go otherwise. I have faith in you as a person to be able to take such advice and adapt it wherever it feels good. But I tell you what, though, having a partner, whether you're a woman or a man, who believes in you, who sees the good in you, even when you have mess up moments, even when it's a beautiful, glorious disaster. Doesn't matter if they have faith in you, you feel like you can do anything. You know what I mean? And the beautiful thing about it is you get to know that you're that kind of person that looks for the best, that does not need to micromanage everybody, that does not need to have control. You know how delightful it is to know that you have a man with you because he wants to be with you rather than because he feels like he needs to be with you? That is the most delicious feeling because, honey, that means you're doing stuff right. If you don't have to trap him with marriage or babies or threats or, oh my gosh, all this makes me insecure. If you can just be you and be that sanctuary, that receptive space, that safe space for him to talk about anything, do you know how fucking attractive that is? Especially to men. A lot of times, there isn't anybody that touches him gently in the rest of his life. Like, not like he'll break, but like he deserves gentle attention just as much as some of the more passionate moments, you know? And I think I'm going to leave this short and simple and just leave this here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you absolutely enjoy these tips.